Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. The tension inside Famine Crest had been building for days, but no one expected it to explode the way it did. If you thought the drama in Famine Crest was under control, you were in for a massive reality check. We are witnessing a total scorched earth collapse of one of the community's most prominent couples, and honestly, the fallout is going to be felt for years. Behind those polished smiles, the expensive suits, and the carefully curated lives they presented to the world, something had shifted, and at the center of it all stood Shanice Carter, moments away from making a decision that would leave everyone stunned. This wasn't just a simple disagreement or a minor lover spat over a forgotten anniversary. We are talking about a deep seated, gut wrenching betrayal that came to a head in the most cinematic way possible. Shanice didn't just find a text or a suspicious receipt. She walked right into a digital smoking gun that laid bare a conspiracy between the man she loved and the one woman everyone warned her about. It's the kind of moment that makes your heart stop and your jaw drop. And as we dive into this, you will see exactly how the gold standard of Famine Crest turned into a heap of ashes in a single morning. It started with a feeling, that quiet nagging instinct Shanice couldn't shake. No matter how much she tried to tell herself she was being paranoid, you know that feeling, right? It's like a low frequency hum in the back of your mind that tells you the floor is about to give way. For weeks, Ted had been acting like a ghost in his own home, distracted during their morning coffee, guarded with his phone as if it held national secrets, and suddenly unavailable at times that once belonged to them. She smelled the change in the air, a coldness that replaced the warmth they used to share. At first, she tried to ignore it. Relationships go through phases, she told herself, but deep down, she knew something wasn't right. That morning, the sun was shining over the manicured lawns of Famine Crest, but inside the house, everything changed. Shanice wasn't looking for answers when she walked into Ted's office. The room smelled of expensive sandalwood and old paper, a space that usually felt like a sanctuary of success. She had actually come to surprise him, maybe even fix whatever had been slowly falling apart between them with a simple gesture of affection. But instead of her husband, she found a cold, glowing revelation. Ted's laptop was open, the fan whirring softly in the silence of the room, casting a pale light onto the mahogany desk. And on the screen, a video. At first, Shanice didn't understand what she was watching. The footage was grainy, clearly not meant for public eyes, looking for like a security feed than anything professional. But as she leaned closer, the air leaving her lungs, her heart dropped. It was Ted, and he wasn't alone. Standing across from him in the dim light of the recording was a woman Shanice recognized instantly, Haley, the same Haley who had been at the center of whispers, rumors, and half-truths circulating around Famine Crest for months. To see them together in such a clandestine setting was a shock, but the body language was what really hurt. It was intense, emotional, dangerous. You said no one would find out. Haley's voice echoed through the speakers, sounding thin and desperate. The sound seemed to vibrate through the office walls, making the room feel smaller. They won't. Ted replied, his tone low and urgent. I've handled it. Shanice froze, her hand hovering over the desk. Handle what? The cold, clinical way he said that word made her skin crawl. It wasn't the voice of the man who kissed her goodbye every morning. It was the voice of a man managing a crisis. Her pulse quickened as the video continued to play, the two figures on screen moving in a tight, frantic circle. The conversation grew more heated, more revealing, until one sentence changed everything. If Shanice ever finds out what really happened that night, Haley said, her eyes wide with a mix of malice and fear, it's over for you. The implication was a physical weight pressing down on Shanice's chest until she could barely breathe. Silence. Ted didn't deny it. He didn't argue or defend his wife's honor. He just stood there guilty. The way his head bowed on the screen was all the confession Shanice needed. Her breath caught in her throat, a sharp, jagged sound in the quiet office. Her entire body went cold as the weight of the moment crashed down on her. The sandalwood scent of the room now feeling suffocating and fake. This wasn't just suspicion anymore. This wasn't insecurity or overthinking. This was truth, and it hurt more than anything she had ever experienced. Without thinking, Shani slammed the laptop shut. The sound echoed through the room like a gunshot, a final punctuation mark on her marriage. For a moment, she just stood there, her hands trembling against the cold metal of the computer, trying to process what she had seen. Her mind raced with questions, each one more painful than the last. What happened that night? What was Ted hiding? And worst of all, how long had he been lying to her? I honestly can't believe he thought he could keep this buried while looking her in the eye every day. She didn't have to wait long for answers. The heavy oak door opened, and Ted walked in looking every bit the successful executive. He stopped the second he saw her, the smile sliding off his face like water. "Shanice," he said, his confusion turning quickly into a calculated concern. "What are you doing here?" She didn't respond right away. She just stared at him, really stared at him, as if seeing the cracks in the porcelain for the first time. The man she loved was a mask, and the mask was slipping. "You tell me," she said finally, her voice dangerously calm. The kind of quiet that precedes a hurricane. Ted frowned, trying to maintain his grip on the situation. "What's that supposed to mean?" He took a step forward toward her, but she stayed rooted to the spot, her eyes burning into his. The power dynamic in the room shifted instantly. Shanice took a step closer, the light from the window catching the tears she refused to let fall. I saw the video. The color drained from his face, leaving him looking sallow and old. For a split second, everything was exposed: fear, guilt, and a deep, dark regret that had nothing to do with hurting her and everything to do with being caught. And that was all Shanice needed. The silence stretched between them, heavy and suffocating. "Shanice, I can explain." "Explain what?" she snapped, her composure finally breaking. "Explain how you have been lying to me. Or explain what happened between you and Haley. It's not what you think." Oh, the classic line. I can't believe he actually used it. "Then tell me what it is," she screamed, her voice cracking with the sheer force of betrayal. Ted hesitated, his mouth opening and closing as he searched for a lie big enough to cover the truth. And that hesitation said everything. It was the final nail in the coffin. Shanice let out a bitter laugh, shaking her head as tears finally filled her eyes. "I can't believe I trusted you," she whispered, the words tasting like ash. "I defended you. I believed in us." "Shanice, please, just let me talk." "No," she said firmly, her spine straightening. "You have done enough talking. Now it's my turn." The room fell silent, the only sound the distant hum of traffic outside Fairmont Crest. And in that silence, Shanice made her decision. The air seemed to clear as she spoke the words that would end it all. "I'm done, Ted." It wasn't a threat, it was a fact. The impact of this fallout is going to be absolutely catastrophic for the social hierarchy of Fairmont Crest. We aren't just looking at a divorce, we are looking at the unraveling of a major secret that involves multiple people in this community. If Haley's warning is true, that whatever happened that night could end Ted, then we are looking at potential legal or professional ruin for him. Shanice was his greatest asset, the person who made him look trustworthy. Without her, the whispers that have been circulating are going to turn into a roar. The consequences here are massive. Ted has gone from the man who has everything to a man who is one mistake away from losing his entire life. I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm so incredibly proud to Shanice for walking away. It takes a terrifying amount of strength to look at a life you spent years building and realize it's a lie, and then have the courage to actually leave it behind. Ted's behavior was textbook manipulation, and the way he tried to handle her, just like he handled the situation with Haley, is disgusting. You can't build a future on a secret that dark. I have a feeling that night is going to be the thing that finally brings the whole house of cards down. And honestly, Ted deserves every bit of the chaos coming his way. Love shouldn't be a project you manage, It should be a partnership, and he failed that test miserably. This wasn't just a breakup, this was the beginning of something much bigger. Because whatever Ted was hiding, it wasn't over, and Shanice had just stepped directly into the truth. What do you guys think about that night? Do you think Haley is as guilty as Ted, or is she being manipulated too? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on all the drama unfolding on Fairmont Crest, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. See you in the next one.